Good Friday Records.
Hello YouTubers, time for another video where I show some of my latest findings, and now I'm going to show you some records that I found more than a week ago on Good Friday of all days. When I was a kid, everything was closed at Good Friday, and you couldn't really go anywhere, and you couldn't find any fun anywhere. But this Good Friday, I didn't plan to, but I just walked in and visited a local flea market. I was even quite surprised that they were open that day, but they were. So by the counter they had some boxes with old vinyl records, and when I saw them, I saw that okay, these doesn't look as if they are in the best of condition, but still I asked the store owner about the price, and they were very cheap, so I picked some of them, and also I picked some records that were in a bit of better shape. I don't really buy records that are in bad condition, but these were some really good titles, so I thought, well, until I find a better title in better condition, this will do good. I'm going to start by showing Wilson Pickett in the Midnight Hour on Atlantic, and this is from 1966. It has the proper label of the time, so it is it a mono? I think it's mono. Yeah, it would say stereo on it if it wasn't. It looked quite crappy, but after a good clean it played well, and I mean, this is as good as you can get when it comes to soul from the 60s, really. I found some Beatles albums, and this is with the Beatles, as you of course can see. This is mono, and when I bought it I was surprised to see when I watched the label that this is actually a Swedish pressing. It says made in Sweden on it. It's not a UK pressing as I first thought. And I didn't know that that Beatles records Beatles albums were pressed in Sweden. I don't have really that knowledge about Swedish pressings and Beatles. Of course, it's much easier to find out information about UK pressings and American pressings on the internet. I found Help, also mono pressing. This is a British one though, from 1965. So these are all in quite bad condition from VG minus to VG, but after a good clean they play quite good. I wouldn't play them on my most expensive record player, but maybe on the old dual P51. That's mono record player, so works quite nice for these ones. And then we have, well, you know, this is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and this is also a mono from the time. It doesn't have the insert, and the spine is quite worn. The record plays okay, but I think it's fun to have these old original ones until you find a copy in a really good condition without to actually having to take some sort of bank loan to get them. Also, I do have quite a lot of Beatles already, so I mean, did I need these? No, but it's fun to have, and something special with the old mono originals, of course, especially this Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. We have the Animals, only called Animals, and I think this is some sort of reissue or maybe compilation. It's on the Regal label, and it's from, I think it's from 1968, although the tracks are from 1964 and 1965. It's a Mickey Most production, as you may know. Also not in the best condition, but plays okay when you given it a bit of a scrub and some TLC. Oh yeah, this is lovely stuff here. The Hollies, and this is very colorful album, as you can see. I've been looking for this for a long time. This is stereo even, and what is it called now? I forgot it. Evolution? No, what does it say? Yeah, Evolution. Sorry about this, my memory is not that good all the time. In so-so condition, the sleeve looks great, but it's playable and it's enjoyable until I find a better copy, and it's an original from the time. Then we have a Swedish pop band called Ola and the Janglers. They managed to crawl up onto the American hit lists in 1968 with the cover of the Chris Montes song Let's Dance, and this is that album, also in so-and-so condition, but quite good Swedish beat band from the 1960s, Ola and the Janglers. And then we have on the immediate label Small Faces. This is, I think this is, I'm not an expert on Small Faces, but this is their debut album. I'm not sure. I've checked it up, but of course I forgot now. Not in the best of condition, but some really great tracks here, and it's playable and enjoyable. Right, then some other records that I bought at the same time that are in great condition, or better condition at least, that I didn't have. This is Electric Light Orchestra, Balance of Power from 1980 something, 86. I'm a great fan of Electric Light Orchestra, and this is one of the records that I didn't have. I'm also a great fan of Clifton Chenier, being that since I first heard of him being mentioned in a song by Paul Simon back in 86. And this is an album that I have never seen before, and the sleeve looks a bit ratty, but nothing wrong with the record. And on this record he plays together with Elvin Bishop and Steve Miller, and that's a bit odd because he usually had his own band that he played with. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm sure this will be a very interesting experience. Clifton Chenier always delivers. Right, and now Folk Festival at Newport, and this is Austrian issue of the old Vanguard record with Odetta, Joan Baez, and the Solitary and Brownie McGee, New Lost City Ramblers, among others. Many of the Vanguard issues were released in Europe in this Austrian label, Amadeo, probably named after Wolfgang Amadeo Mozart. And it says also a Vanguard recording. So, nice to have, and really great folk music on this one. Okay, the Byrds' Greatest Hits. I have many of the great albums of the Byrds from the 1960s, but this is a compilation that I didn't have, which is a bit strange. I thought I had it, but I took a chance when I bought it, because okay, it didn't cost that much, and if I already have it, no, well, okay. The only thing that's bad on this record is that the spine is a bit worn, but the actual record is great. Okay, now Sweet Cream and Other Delights. Sweet Cream was a trio, a sister trio of disco and funk singers, three ladies, that I think they made only one record, and this is the one. And of course you can see that it's very inspired by, of course, Herb Alpert, Whipped Cream and Other Delights. I've seen many variations of that record sleeve, although I've never seen this particular one before. And this is from 1970 something, 78. And it's nice. I mean, the sleeve is actually better than the actual record, but it has its moments. I'm not that much of a fan when it comes to disco, really. Bob Dylan's greatest hits, yeah. It says here, a stereo pickup of maximum 8 grams stylus force is recommended. 8 grams! Wow. Well, maybe that was the case back in the 60s, but this is, even if you can't see it on the sleeve, it is a reissue. It has, well, the CBS label that was used from, well, mid-70s to early 80s. So it is not a first issue. And of course I have the songs on this album, but I haven't got this actual record with this sleeve variation before, so grab that one too. Okay, I really love the Tubular Bells, and I knew that an orchestrated version was issued shortly after the original ones by Mike Oldfield, the orchestral Tubular Bells, and I found that as well in the same pile, so I thought, well, why not? Looks great, great condition, and it sounds great, so of course I grabbed it. Yeah, this is quite yeah, interesting. The New Deal string band, Down in the Willow, Down in the Willow, on the Argo label, and we have Tom Paley, Joe Locker, and Janet Kerr, and this is obviously folk music and the, well, string band tradition that we mainly know from well, US folk music and so on, and we have many quite familiar songs for those of us who know a bit about ragtime, like Smoky Mokes and Ragtime Annie and Waiting for the Boatman. But this was very surprising to find this, and in superb condition. The record is fine. Right, and now the final one in this pile. A record that I've actually been looking for actively for quite a lot of years. Chester and Lester with Chet Atkins and Les Paul. Well, mainly because they are two of my absolute favorite guitar players. You can always expect quality when they were involved. And when I first read about the fact that they made records together, I've been looking for them. And now, maybe 10, 15 years after I first heard of it, I got hold of a copy. And they're really having a good time. They're laughing and they're joking with each other and playing, and it's just, the record is just as happy as these two old geezers look on the sleeve. So, and on that happy note, I mean, the Good Friday is rarely a happy day, but for me this Good Friday this year was a very good day. So on that note, I'll say thank you for showing interest, and I hope you somewhat enjoyed this video, and see you soon again.